We'd love to welcome you all today. I think we have a very promising program, and I'm looking forward to the presentations from some very, very informed and thoughtful scholars, and I hope that will lead to some very fruitful and insightful discussions. I also wanted to mention two people who have really played a tremendous role, more or less behind the scenes, in making this event possible. First, I'd like to mention Stefka Letvin. Many of you have 1 million emails from her. She is a force of nature, and her awesome attention to detail, I think, is largely responsible for every logistical and organizational success, of which there are many, given the difficulty of visas and reaching Edmonton in spite of strikes, snow, and other kinds of delays. And by some divine intervention, we actually are all here, which I consider a true podvig, a true, accomplishment. The other person I would really like to mention is someone who is a very, very long-standing supporter of Ukrainian studies very, very broadly, and specifically the study of religion. He has been very, very instrumental and very helpful in terms of framing this conference, many of the issues that we'll be discussing, and overall just being a tremendous source of support and especially inspiration. And that is, of course, Frank Sisson. He is a scholar who is well known to many of us, but he has been very, very helpful in organizing this conference. I'd like now to turn the microphone over to Heather Coleman, who will introduce two other people who have been helpful.
So it's my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Xiaoting Li, who is the Associate Dean Research in the Faculty of Arts at the University of Alberta and has been a great supporter as I worked my way through all of the grant applications that allowed us to come to this place. And so I'm going to invite her to come to the microphone and bring us greetings from the Faculty of Arts.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you, everyone. First, I'd like to acknowledge that we're located on Treaty 6 territory, the traditional lands of First Peoples of Canada. And also, I am an Asian settler here on this land. I just want to express my sincere gratitude for being allowed, with my family, to be allowed to live and thrive on this land. It's my great pleasure to be here at the Conference on Religion and War in Ukraine. As Dr. Coleman has mentioned, I was fortunate to see the development of this project from its proposal stage to its full fruition today, as I can see. We recently passed the 2-year mark of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. For many people in other parts of the world, the war has been an event that they follow on news and social media. But for so many members of our community here in the Faculty of Arts and at the University of Alberta, the impact of the war has been much more personal and immediate. The Canadian Institute of Ukrainian Studies has spent almost 50 years building scholarly relationships between Canada and Ukraine. It is dedicated to understanding and producing, preserving, and disseminating expert knowledge about Ukraine and Canada and Ukrainians in Canada and beyond across the globe. Through this work, CIUS has developed deep connections and a deep commitment to Ukraine and the surrounding region, as well as to its community here at the University of Alberta and across Canada. These connections prompted the Institute to take actions when the war broke out to support Ukraine and all Ukrainians around the world. This conference stems from a partnership between CIUS's Program on Religion and Culture and the Working Group on Lived Religion in Eastern Europe and Eurasia. The Faculty of Arts deeply appreciates and acknowledges the work and commitment of CIUS. This conference, Religion and War in Ukraine, the Political, the Public, and the Possible, organized by Drs. Heather Coleman and Catherine Warner, is the first conference dedicated to the consequences for religion in Ukraine as a result of Russia's full-scale invasion. The conference is part of a broader project, which also includes a photographic exhibit, Destroyed Temples of Ukraine, You must have seen the flyer on your way in by the registration table. It is currently on display at the Rutherford Library on campus, which is only a short walk away from the conference room here. I'd encourage you to pay a visit to this exhibit. As I can see from the conference program, speakers will explore the full range of experience of religious groups in Ukraine and the role they might play in the aftermath of the war. This is a significant and timely topic. I would like to apologize that I won't be able to stay for these interesting talks at the conference and have to leave for another meeting. But I wish you have a fruitful discussion and a successful conference. And I look forward to reading the exciting work and other outcomes coming out of the conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Xiaoting. Finally, I'd like to welcome to the podium Dr. Natalia Khanenko-Friesen, who is the director of Canadian Institute of Ukrainian Studies and also one of the collaborators on the project in charge of the exhibit component. So, thanks, Natalia.
Dear guests, dear Zoom participants, and everybody in the room here in Amiskwasi Vaskahikan, welcome to the Canadian Institute of Ukrainian Studies. As many of you know, we are a large institution with the immense footprint when it comes to academic performance, work pursuits, scholarship around the world. Our locations include Toronto and the office in Lviv, and our partnerships span around the world. In fact, though our name emphasizes the nature of our research being tied to an adjective or noun, Ukrainian, in principle, we embrace diversity and we embrace a variety of experiences of to be Ukrainian. And this particular conference, in fact, going to reflect exactly on that diversity. Partnerships, collaborations, what in fact inspires our work, what leads us forward and enhances our scholarship. And I'm particular thankful to the working group on religion, on lived religion in Eastern Europe and Eurasia, and Catherine Bonner, together with Program on Religion and Culture in CIOS, on bringing all of us this opportunity to connect and partake in a very meaningful conversation. We are undertaking this initiative as a part of a broader 2-month-long pursuit called 210 anniversaries of the war in Ukraine, of course marking the 10th anniversary since the beginning of the war and the 2nd anniversary since the beginning of the latest phase, the full-scale invasion of the war. And we understand that religion, in fact, plays a crucial role in all the discussions and discourses which are unfolding in Ukraine, focusing on what is its future, either as it's being pursued right now during the war, but especially what will it bring once the war ends. So I'm looking forward to these productive discussions which are going to emphasize the complexity of this journey. And I thank you for creating this podium and for sharing this wisdom with far broader communities than just those ones in Edmonton or those ones on Zoom. Thank you very much, and productive conversations all.